Roger. What would be the best access that you can determine? Sorry, from Air 256 on 13. They have aboard off roof ladders. Roger, AB side off roof ladders. Roger, we're on scene. Where would you like us, sir?
Rob Jennings, the big story in Action News is the multi-alarm fire that turned a $5 million, 22,000 square foot mansion into charred embers. The flames erupted around 2:30 inside the French Chateau on South Ithan Avenue in Radnor Township, right down the road from Villanova's campus, and it burned for the rest of the afternoon. Kenneth Moten has been covering this story for the whole time for us. A couple of firefighters were hurt there. Kenneth, how are they doing?
Rob, one firefighter suffered a minor burn, the other a minor injury to his back, so they will be okay. About 20 minutes ago, Ithan Avenue reopened and crews cleared the scene. We've also learned this house had an alarm and sprinkler system to help prevent it from a major fire. Well, it appears that system was no match for whatever started today's fire. This is the new video tonight of firefighters in Radnor Township doing what they can to save this $5 million mansion. Throughout the evening, dozens of firefighters put out the hot spots of the fire that ripped through this 19-bedroom house and left behind this burned-out shell on Ithan Avenue.
I thought it was a bloody shame, actually, because it's such a pretty house.
Retired businessman Wayne Lewis owned the 6-acre estate in the 70s. As Chopper 6 HD hovered over, he watched the inferno eat away at the roof of his...
Mr. Bryant, let me be brief about the details of this very unique project that I'm offering you an exclusive first look opportunity at. Let me break it down for you in the most simplest words I can conjure. Basically, I got myself months ago I get dozens a day of these films, speculative films made by independent filmmakers and TV producers, pilots and such, that are all varieties of independent reality television, so to speak, within that genre. And sitting on my desk, or my assistant's desk, for over 3 months was a tape that was called The Graduation Party Labeled. We thought nothing of it. We actually, every about 90 days, return all of these for legal reasons as being unopened and unviewed, and therefore we're not liable for any kind of assertion of copyright infringement post the rejection of this material. But to make a long story short, it's simple, sir. We basically, because of attention that was called upon us through the federal authorities, which I won't get into the details of why, but make a long story short, so we got a story on our hands that is hotter than fried chicken in South Carolina in August. It's one of those things that I swear to you, if you really get...
Purpose they were born with. You have to realize what your purpose is. Find it within you, whatever it takes.
I just want to go through this one more time, make sure I got it right.
That's understandable, sir.
These little boys and girls,
Snot-nosed, every one of them.
fooled you into thinking they were all dead in a fire. Is that right?
Well, Sir, I watched the footage. I saw the obituary. I watched the funeral footage. I bought into it like the rest of America. Yeah, I admit. Convicted. Guilty.
And in fact, in reality, if you'll pardon the expression, they are all alive.
Every last one of them, sir. Apparently, yeah. Every last one of them. Yeah. It turns out they faked it all. To induce us with fraudulent intent to air and broadcast their part.
That's the word. Fraudulence.
Yep.
They made a fool of you, and you made a fool of me. You took me long for the humiliation.
Sir, I did
and
not.
The money.
Well, the money, I do admit, was an incentive, but I did not mean for it to reflect poorly upon you, upon the company and corporation of Comcast or NBC or Universal or any
But it did, boy, it did. It surely did. I am humiliated. I may even be ruined.
Sir, I would like to draw your attention to the silver lining.
You are so lucky. I'm not a shooting man.
Except when it's duck season, you're going hunting today. I mean,
Except for ducks.
No one had actually died, even the boy that committed
Except for the fraud, of course.
Well, certainly is a fraud, and I'm not saying there ain't a crime.
And the victim.
Throw away the key. I could care less, but as long as I can film them throwing out the key, that's all I care about, so I can get my 10%. Sir, I want you to consider the following. Even the boy that jumped off the building, the black boy, the gentleman, the singer, the singer.
Oh, yes.
Even that corpse was fake. They had taken cadavers out of the lockers like slabs of meat from the deli. And they put them in that house out there, and they had that party. They had them literally downstairs in the basement on ice during the party. Then at the end of the party, they positioned them out throughout the house. They put them clothes on them that they're wearing, all those, the girls with those tight little dresses, and those boys with those fancy shirts and suits and those ascots that they were wearing. And they put them on those things so they'd be found with their body and people would assume it was them. It was all a bunch of bullshit. They had thought this thing out for a year going forward. I don't know who the mastermind is, but someone is some evil doctor, evil genius in the group there, because I don't know what. Dang, between homework and getting laid, I don't know how anyone thinks about that at 22 years old. But hey.
Diabolical.
It is
That's the only word for it.
It's like Lex Luthor level diabolical. They had filmed themselves not only at the party where they allegedly died, but in anticipation of this very day where they will be caught. They filmed themselves in the island where they were all living, real world style, all together in one home. Turns out that they had this huge mansion on one of the little islands, and everything was filmed. So we got ourselves a season 2 and 3. We'll make season 2 of the island, season 3 the trial, season 4 we'll put it in their jail cells. We got them for the rest of their natural doing their lives. So it's a bad day for PR. I swear it is a bad day. God damn it. You put that Confederate flag at half mast. I swear, I recognize it.
We know where they are.
Well, you know what? I got the feelers out right now, and I got an investigator. And I got the investigator who's found me the filmmaker. Now, when I talk to that filmmaker who's coming in here right here today, he's going to come in here right here now. I got to talk to this attorney. He comes in here, and I get some answers out of that boy, and I'm going to get that jet, and I'm going to fly down, and I know they're in the island somewhere, because I got an IP address when I got one of these suspicious emails that was leaked to me by one of them disgruntled, types of down. It turns out there was an internal rift from the group inside. Turns out that paradise was not found south in the islands as they thought it would be. They got the money. They were getting those checks from charities. They had insurance on all their lives, plus the building that went down in flames. They had all the money in the world. Turns out they couldn't live together. And get this, here's another silver lining. I found out through my particular sources and sources of information that may be confidential, that they had filmed themselves not only at the party where they allegedly died, but in anticipation of this very day where they will be caught. They filmed themselves in the island where they were all living, real world style, all together in one home. Turns out that they had this huge mansion on one of the little islands, and everything was filmed. So we got ourselves a season 2 and 3. We'll make season 2 of the island, season 3 the trial, season 4 we'll put it in their jail cells. We got them for the rest of their natural doing their lives. So it's a bad day for PR. I swear it is a bad day. God damn it. You put that Confederate flag at half-mast. I swear, I recognize that. But I tell you, so I hear you.
It's humiliating, but also intriguing.
It's a bit intriguing, and the most intriguing thing about it, like I said, is season 2 and 3. If I get my hands on that filmmaker today, which about an hour I'm gonna meet that boy, he gets me, he gives me a solid lead. I'll get on that plane, I'll go see those kids, and not only will I get an acquisition of that footage in return for probably providing them with counsel for their defense, and perhaps in the intervening in some of the district attorney's negotiations for plea bargains, but I will get their rights. I'll bring the contracts down here with me. I got my secretary right now drawing them up right now.
Pretending just for a moment that I'm a ordinary man and not a very rich, not so ordinary man.
So that is impossible for me to imagine, but continue. I will.
I would be strongly tempted to watch such a show, I think.
You would be tempted to see what occurred on the island.
I believe I would become hooked on such a show, and I would watch that show. I believe.
No one had actually died, even the boy that committed
suicide. Except for the fraud, of course.
Well, certainly is a fraud, and I'm not saying there ain't a crime.
And the victim.
Throw away the key. I could care less, but as long as I can film him throwing out the key, that's all I care about, so I can get my 10%. So I want you to consider the following. Even the boy that jumped off the building, you know, the black boy, the gentleman that, the singer, the singer.
Oh, yes.
Even that corpse was fake. They had taken cadavers out of the lockers like slabs of meat from the deli, and they put them in that house out there, and they had that party. They had them literally downstairs in the basement on ice during the party. Then at the end of the party, they positioned them out throughout the house. They put them clothes on them that they're wearing, all those, you know, the girls with those tight little dresses, and those boys with those fancy shirts and suits, and those ascots that they were wearing. And they put them on those things so they'd be found with their body, and people would assume it was them. It was all a bunch of bullshit. They had thought this thing out for a year going forward. I don't know who the mastermind is, but someone is some evil doctor, evil genius in the group there, because I don't know what. Dang, between homework and getting laid, I don't know how anyone thinks about that at 22 years old. But hey.
Diabolical.
It is
That's
diabolical.
the only word for it.
It's like Lex Luthor level diabolical. Damn. But I tell you, so I hear you.
It's humiliating, but also intriguing.
It's a bit intriguing, and the most intriguing thing about it, like I said, is season 2 and 3. If I get my hands on that filmmaker today, which about an hour I'm gonna meet that boy, he gives me a solid lead. I'll get on that plane, I'll go see those kids, and not only will I get an acquisition of that footage in return for probably providing them with counsel.
That is the curious part of this whole story.
It is curious. Won't you? I am dying to hear out of the mouth of these babes, because that's what it is, out of the mouth of babes, the truth of how they came to this, what brought them to this. Why not just go get a goddamn job, meet a nice girl, settle down, get a house and a dog and a white picket fence? I mean, is that so wrong? I mean, what is it? Well, what's all these kids wanting fame and fortune and wanting to be on the cover of People, and it's a disease. It's crazy. I mean, this whole
moral
I got the Bible in my hand right now. I'm telling you, I was reading scripture. What you call it? Thinking about getting the rights to that particular work, but then I heard it was a public domain. Apparently, the Bible, because it was written by God. He doesn't.
One problem at a time.
But you know that God's not even represented. You know, you think he'd be with William Moss by now, but it's amazing they haven't gotten them. It's on.
Okay, I need you to take a pen and pencil, all right, and do the following things for me, okay? Mr. Brian's going to be calling me all morning, all right? I want you to put him off. I want you to tell him that my grandmama died, my mother died, my cousins. Tell him the whole family. I can't talk to him right now. And get that detective, that private. I need you to do some research, and we have to figure out from where those FedExes came. Okay, we got to track down that boy who sent me that email saying that he was the filmmaker. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, I need to get a meeting with him today. Because when I talk to Mr. Bryan, and he's going to be pissed off to high hell, I got that. You understand the severity of this situation. Anyone that calls, you disavow all knowledge. We are not commenting. Except to say that we had no knowledge of impropriety associated with this production at all. We thought it was honest to God, awful truth. It was the straight scoop. That was the real lives. They had actually perished in those fires. That this was not some publicity, marketing, crazy ass Blair Witch kind of stunt. Hell, I ain't that sophisticated. It was all just happenstance and hoodwinkling and the wool over my eyes and all that other shit. So just whatever you have to say, just we didn't do this, and that's the damn truth. You know that because you've been. How long you been with me now? What? So you've been with me since that. In fact, it was 2 weeks you've been working here that those packages started coming in here. Remember that? Well, we didn't even look at them until the FBI boys got involved. When we did look at them, well, we saw the footage and we saw, and then that went and sold it to Comcast, and next thing you know, the numbers went off through the roof. One of the kids that died, this is a daddy who was a very powerful man. He was a South Carolina senator, actually. And he got those FBI boys involved, and they did the tracking down and talking to everyone. They found out that a couple people actually left the party that wasn't aware that they'd actually put too many bodies, too many. Well, it turns out what they did was they took cadavers and they put them in there. They were the same age and racial composition. They put damn clothes on them and the whole 9 yards. And then they saw that fire. They actually watched the damn fire from the cover of the woods, but suffice it to say that the whole thing was a scam, sham, flim-flam to the man. And I don't know why they did it, except made me sell some advertising on a television show, because I certainly know how to tell us. I can sell a TV show. So I sold Snooki for MTV. You don't need no trick or device or gimmick, but I guess these boys and girls did. They thought they did. So anyway, it ain't no here nor there. But at this time, what we need to do is I need to speak with that filmmaker right away, because it looks like what I found out was these boys and girls are all alive, and they're in some island sitting there drinking pina coladas and enjoying the sun, and laughing all the way to the bank in the Cayman Islands, I guess, because it turns out not only are they getting the money from this TV show deal that I cut for them unknowingly, thinking that I was cutting it for the blind trust established for the families that were remaining, turns out that they were controlling it the whole time. Even the charities were false. Everything was bullshit. I got my 10%, so I was compensated. But the fact is that those millions and millions of dollars were flowing down to the south in one of these little Virgin Islands, where they were all sitting there in a house together, where it turns out, from my source, that they had filmed all of that as well. So while it is a bit of a pickle we find ourselves in, if I do work the angles right, I do think that I can get a second season from NBC Universal Comcast. Yeah. So apparently they filmed everything that went down in those islands, and it was one of them girls that the girl that did, she wasn't getting along with anybody during the actual party, and you see the way this whole thing went down is. Besides the heat I was getting from the FBI, because they thought I was behind the whole damn thing. Of course, I had nothing to do with it. All I did was got the footage, and I looked at it, and then I tried to sell it to Comcast, and we made a deal. And that was a sell. I think I watched 4 minutes of that damn footage. I watched that trailer that they put together, and then I sold the damn thing to Robert Bryan, and that was it. Literally, we went duck hunting, and I sold them while we were duck hunting. Turns out that right after the whole thing blew up and, it was getting really big in Europe and was getting ready for this American debut, well, there was something leaked to the press. It was a piece of footage, like an outtake. And it was all these kids at the party, and they were all talking different. And then at the end of this footage, they actually are talking about, the word movie comes up, like they're actors or something. Like they actually talk about making a movie. So you put that next to all this footage, and you realize that these kids aren't graduating from no college. These kids are actors, professional actors. That's why I was so damn convinced. You got some talent, I'll admit, but, I guess they don't realize it's a felony to take it this far. Fiction's one thing, and artistic license is another. And then going into jail, I know about law, but maybe it's illegal. Damn it, I don't even know. They got this Paranormal Activity, most powerful little film ever made, and they want you to think it's real, and this whole reality is fit. Look, I ain't in it for that. I'm in it for the 10%, and I just got one thing to say. There's a one silver lining to all this is I get a hold of that filmmaker, and I get him to sign for these next seasons. I get the season of them down, and all the fractured relationships and strained reliances and survivor-like coincidences and all these things and dramas and conflicts that I'm sure that occurred with some probably very favorable lighting conditions in the southern hemisphere, where I believe they're located right now. So we got a hold of that, and we also have an option for that third season, which I think would follow their trials, because obviously there's a mastermind we just have to identify. But I do think I do have a line on the man who I don't think was in the party, who actually controlled the cameras remotely from some type of studio and then did the editing, and he was the one that was sending them to me. I guess he knew I'd buy it. And he knew about my relationship with you. He knew we both came from the same parish in Louisiana, the whole damn thing. So I think these were set up, the whole thing, the whole 9 yards. And look, I got moving boxes surrounded me because I'm out of this town. I made enough money off this deal. I can go retire and just on the bayou and eat my crawfish, and I'm happy doing that. And I got my hounds, and I'll be fine. But I gotta set this right. And the way I set it right is this: I find that filmmaker. I found out what the hell he's doing, what he was thinking. And when I find that filmmaker and find out what the hell he was, I find out if they were really trying to do something wrong here, or if it just was something that just got out of control. I don't know yet, but all I know is, and I guess they don't really understand the lives and the business and the bottom line that they're going to affect. They also may not realize the millions and millions of dollars we're going to make from all this. But again, there may be some moral and legal issues that we may have to deal with that supersede the profitability. So to summarize, we need to get a hold of that filmmaker. We need to control the press on this and to explain to them that we had no knowledge of this being fictional. We thought that these young boys and girls were dead, and in fact, that the whole effort we made to encapsulate the footage of the last party, the last hours of their young lives, was to give it a poetic justice, to try to find in a tragedy some source of happiness, and also for the surviving families who would be deprived of a youngster who would have been depleting the family of part of their income, because inevitably 80% of these graduates return home without a job and go back to their room that they've occupied since they were 2 years old. We saved them that expense and supplemented that with the income derived from the rights exposure and exploitation, from the monetization of the amortization, from the terrestrialization of the
it's nothing but some legal protection of mine. My personal attorney advised me to do this because I gotta leave to go get them boys and girls down there. I'm not going to disclose right now where I found out where they are, but I did, and I am going to see this right. I got to fix some things with relationships I have in the industry if I want to keep working in this industry. I mean, I'd like to retire, but I don't know if I can afford it. I'm getting married soon, and it's all happening real fast. So I'm going down there to fetch these people, and I'm getting them signed up for the season 2, and I'm getting them fixed up with the FBI and trying to work this out and keep these boys and girls out of trouble, because I think there was maybe someone behind it, but I don't think all these people were guilty of a crime. I don't think they all knew what they were doing. I think they all got caught up in it, like young people can, and I personally feel a sense of responsibility for them, even though I feel as though, depends on how I handle this, this could ruin my life. I mean, that's not even joking. I can't believe after all these years and building up and selling all the things I have and getting 10% here, getting 10% there, getting 10% here, and putting together a couple $1 million, I can go away in legal fees because some damn kid who thinks he can make a Blair Witch Project like Orson Welles and scare the hell out of people. And I apologize for what, to the families that who went through such an ordeal for so long, for those months. I mean, for how many, 3 or 4 months they're going on, where they thought the child had died, and then to see it coming on TV and to be getting these checks, to be getting paid for the death of your child is just, I mean, it's the worst thing in the world that can happen, combined with a good thing that makes it all upside down and sideways. And I'm a part of it, and I'm the genesis of it, and the project came to me, and I could have ignored it. I mean, yeah, the FBI, I had to watch those things because they came to me, but hey, I don't know, fate or destiny sent them to me. I thought I hit the jackpot when I got those tapes, and I sat down and watched a few of them with those FBI agents. But now looking back, be careful what you wish for, because I always wished for, another Judge Shaw, sell. I don't believe in that when I was trying to sell that. I mean, hey, Mr. Roberts, Mr. Bryan rather himself, he passed on that. He laughed his ass off when I was telling him about that sinker girl. He said he just laughed his ass off, and now we laugh about it over some Southern Comfort.
As the tears on my face, and I'm stuck up in the storm. I guess I'll be alright. Oh, oh, oh. Then it hits me like, oh, oh, no. And you're that thing that's swept off my feet, got me flying till I'm flying and I'm down on my knees. There was a
interrupt you. I'm just telling you this right now. I want to do anything I can to cooperate in this investigation. Tell me what you need. Tell me what you need.
Well, like I said, I need to know that you haven't sold or tried to sell that tape to anybody else. Can you tell me that?
I can tell you I've not completed the transaction. I admit that, but I must admit, frankly, I know I'm not under oath, so I'm just saying this out of the goodness of my heart. I haven't entered into preliminary negotiations for the material.
Who has the tape?
Excuse me?
Who has the tape?
Well, I have a copy of the tape, and I will forward right now. If you give me an email, I will have it within 4 seconds. So you have everything I have. So let's just stay friendly here, because
Who has the original tape?
I don't know. I don't know who sent it to me, and I say that with the God's honest truth. Think of this, Special Agent. Here's the angle. Someone sent it to me with the hope that I would be able to exploit it into the distribution media, whether it's MTV.
Did you make any copies?
I did receive through FedEx a copy of this material, 9 hours plus of raw material from their last hours at that graduation party.
Did you make any copies after you received
No,
the footage?
no, I have not. I have not. But what I have done is told people in the industry about the existence of this, because to me it still could be a Blair Witch thing where it's all fictional. I just don't know.
Well, it's certainly not a crime for you to tell anybody about it. But from this point forward, you'd be doing yourself a favor if you wouldn't tell anybody else about this. Because right now, this thing has the potential to really ruin your life. I mean, if you want to be in a position where just the fact that right now the tapes in California could change us from being a New York investigation into an interstate FBI situation. And let me tell you something, the feds don't mess around.
I didn't ask for the tape. So the tape was sent to me, and to be honest, I was about to report it, but when you get so many tapes from filmmakers trying to do a Blair Witch, you can't report ever fake. The biggest movie ever made was Paranormal Activity, and it's a fake, faux footage, found footage thing. It's a genre unto itself. So when I get tapes like that, if I called the cops I'd be calling the cops every day. So here's what I got to understand. After watching the tape and seeing the deaths and it all putting it together, I realized I was in too deep. I was about to call you, boss. If I was trying to hide this, I would not try to shop it. And I will give you everything. You get me I'll get you right now all my people on. So they will give you all the information to how to get in touch with us. We will send you digitally everything we got. And let's touch base soon, because I'd like to know where I stand in all this, because my reputation's at stake.
I'm sure by now you know that the footage you found is real, correct?
Well, to be honest, if it is real, and let me just add one fact you may not know. I got this from an anonymous source, but there was a note in there, and I'll give it to you for handwriting analysis because it was handwritten. The note said something to the effect of, "We want you to show the world or share this with the world." And I think the footage, for whatever reason, is their manifesto or their statement or their suicide note, whatever. I don't understand. I know that they had something to communicate, and that's why they sent it to Creative Artists Agency.
My understanding is that you also believe that one of the participants may be alive. Is that true?
That is new information we just received. Basically, after watching some of this footage, we found out that one of the individuals was rejected from a marriage proposal and humiliated by the fact that this woman who he had asked to marry, who accepted it and rejected him, went...
Yes, this is Brandon McCarthy of the British News Network reporting from the great city of Manhattan, New York City, New York. June the 1st, apparently the Westchester coroner has confirmed now that 18, in fact, are dead. 18 bodies have been found at the tragic inferno of the graduation party, as the national media has called it. The actual audio of the call 911 has just been released. On June the 2nd here, the day after the tragedy, we have now discovered through MSNBC that the South Carolina senator, the incumbent of 3 terms Republican senator, actually has a daughter who is actually amongst the dead, tragically elevating this to a very high level. The Westchester fire chief has actually now ruled that this is a suspected arson and an investigation shall ensue, and the New York media has covered this tragedy quite extensively. However, because of the high-profile nature of the South Carolina senator's daughter, it looks as though the national media may pick up the story. In addition to that, the Federal Bureau of Investigation has been ordered to undertake an investigation as to whether this was arson, suicide, homicide, or an accident. Today, the funerals on June the 7th were held for most of the victims of the graduation party tragedy. And apparently, a very interesting twist, a FedEx footage of 9 hours and 36 minutes of footage on June 28th FBI, but in fact CIA, the actual Hollywood agency. The FBI has commenced their investigation, and they are focusing on the origination of this found footage. It's not certain who sent the footage or created the footage for reason. However, on August 18th or 17th, the filmmaker was identified and interrogated by the FBI. Apparently, the rights have been awarded to NBC Universal Comcast, and on July 29th, an auction was held by Creative Artists Agency for video rights. Apparently, the networks are going to break up the found footage into a mini-series of a reality television program. On the 2nd of August, the FBI has discovered 9 hours of footage. They've actually themselves now, through court order, have acquired all of the footage to the CIA. And in a way to control, I believe, the damage here, reportedly NBC, Comcast, Universal announced that all profits will be given to the family. Apparently, the NBC has premiered the show to groundbreaking, earth-shattering ratings. Very, very high. Media frenzy has gone in earnest. It seems that these individuals who had absolutely no fame during their lives have discovered fame posthumously due to these incredible scenes of very ordinary activities rendered meaningful by their proximity to their death. A trailer for the TV series was just released on September the 21st, but apparently more than that has been leaked. Apparently, which I don't know if I'm reporting a positive or negative thing,